Did you see what happened in the last quarter of the game between the Fever and the Dallas Wings? When everyone thought the game was slipping away, Caitlin Clark decided to rewrite the script. 2 3-pointers in a row, like she was playing in her backyard.
On the offensive end.
3 players in double figures. Clark again with another 3!
And when you think it can't get better, Kelsey Mitchell decides to join the show.
There it is, and she buries the 3!
Suddenly, the Fever was back in the game, like they'd hit a destruction mode button. But wait, that was just the beginning. Caitlin finished the night with numbers that are normal for her. 28 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, and 5 threes. And Kelsey? 36 points, 6 rebounds, and also 5 3-pointers. It's simply impossible to contain these two together. And you know what's crazier? This wasn't a one-off. The Fever is coming off a win against Angel Reese's Chicago Sky. They dominated on the road, and now they've done it again against the Dallas Wings. The Fever, who was seen as the underdog at the beginning of the season, is making everyone eat their words. Let's dive a little deeper into this epic performance by Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, because what they did deserves to be dissected in detail. First, Caitlin Clark. This rookie is playing like the WNBA has been her home for years. 28 points is impressive on its own, but 12 assists. That shows she not only knows how to put the ball in the basket, but also has a unique court vision. She's making her teammates shine too. And those 5 3-pointers? Clark is stretching the opposing defense like it's elastic, opening up spaces that didn't even exist before. Now, Kelsey Mitchell. 36 points. Kelsey's hand was on fire against the Dallas Wings. 6 rebounds show she's not just waiting for the ball to come to her, she's going after it. And she also hit 5 threes, matching Clark. When you have 2 players of this caliber hitting from long range like that, how do you defend? They're the Splash Sisters of the WNBA. The most impressive part, they combined for 64 points. That's more than half of the team's total points. And we can't forget Clark's 12 assists. That means besides the points she scored, she created a bunch of opportunities for her teammates. It's the kind of game that elevates the level of the entire team. This duo is becoming one of the most feared in the league. They complement each other in a way that seems like they've been playing together for years, not just one season. Clark with her court vision and long-distance shots, Mitchell with her aggressiveness and ability to create her own shot. It's a combination that's giving opposing coaches nightmares. But guys, don't think this was an isolated incident or just another good game. The Fever is on a streak that's making everyone take a second look at the WNBA standings. Let's go back a bit. Before this game against the Dallas Wings, the Fever had already put on a show against the Chicago Sky. The most incredible part? These 2 wins were on the road. Winning in the WNBA is already tough. Winning on the road is another level. And the Fever did it twice in a row, against competitive teams. In the game against the Sky, Clark and Mitchell had already shown that this partnership was going to be trouble. They dominated the court as if they were playing against a high school team. The Sky's defense didn't know whether to guard Clark, who could make a magical pass at any moment, or Mitchell, who was hitting from all over the court. And now, they go and do it again against the Wings. It's like the Fever found a secret formula for winning on the road. These wins aren't just numbers on the standings. They're sending a clear message to the rest of the league. The Indiana Fever is no longer that team you mark on the calendar as an easy win. Now, when other teams see the Fever on the schedule, they know they're going to have to sweat. And the most exciting part, it seems like the Fever is getting better with each game. It's as if each of these wins feeds the team's confidence, making them play even better in the next challenge. If they keep up this pace, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see the Fever making some noise in the playoffs. But let's talk about a key piece in this evolution of the Fever that a lot of people are forgetting. Coach Christy Sides. She has evolved a lot. Sides is doing a phenomenal job in developing the team's chemistry. At the beginning of the season, it sometimes looked like the Fever was playing playground basketball, every player for themselves. Now, it's a true ballet on the court. The players know exactly where their teammates will be. And let's talk about the tactical evolution. Christy has clearly studied the strengths of each player and is designing schemes that maximize these talents. Another crucial point: defense. At the beginning of the year, the Fever was giving up easy points, but now they're defending as if their lives depended on it. And we see a lot of this in Lexi Hull. She fights for every play as if it were the last. The Fever now looks like a completely different team from the one that started the season. Clark and Mitchell together are a combination that could dominate in the playoffs. The most incredible thing is how they complement each other. Clark has this absurd court vision and the ability to make passes that leave everyone with their mouths open. Mitchell is a scoring machine, capable of creating her own shot in complicated situations. Together, they form a nightmare for any defense. And look at how this affects the other players. The confidence that Clark and Mitchell pass on to the rest of the team is contagious. Suddenly, everyone on the Fever is playing at a higher level. It's as if their excellence raised the standard for everyone. Another important point, the way they handle pressure. In decisive moments, both Clark and Mitchell want the ball. They're not afraid of the moment. This gives enormous security to the team in the final minutes of tight games. And we can't forget the fun factor. You can see they're having fun on the court. That makes all the difference. Basketball played with joy is basketball played at another level. In the end, Clark and Mitchell aren't just the present of the Indiana Fever, they're the future. And from what we're seeing, this future promises to be bright. And all of this is reflecting in the league standings. Remember the beginning of the season? The Fever was practically a wild card, everyone saying it was going to be another year of rebuilding, that maybe in 2 or 3 years they'd be competitive. Well, guess what? The future arrived earlier. With this win against the Dallas Wings, the Fever now has a record of 17 wins and 16 losses. For a team that many thought would be fighting not to be the worst in the league, this is insane. But the craziest thing is this. They're not just in the fight for the playoffs, they're practically guaranteed. The Chicago Sky, which has Angel Reese, is down there with 11 wins and 21 losses in 8th position. And the Fever has already opened up a huge advantage. And check out this craziness. The Fever still has real chances of passing the Seattle Storm in the standings. This completely changes the playoff scenario. The Fever won't be that team everyone wants to face in the first round anymore. Now, they're the team no one wants to face. Imagine being one of the top teams and having to face Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell in a best-of-3 series. It's enough to give you chills. And there's more. With this moment they're living, the confidence factor will be crucial in the playoffs. The Fever is entering this final stretch believing they can beat anyone.
How confident is this team right now? Coming in hot, wow. Opening the door.
That makes all the difference when the pressure increases. Another important point, the Indiana team is gaining experience in decisive games now. Each of these tight wins is a learning experience for the playoffs. When the time comes, they won't disappoint. And there's more. The Fever is reaching the playoffs with zero pressure. Everyone already thinks they've done more than expected just by getting there. You know what that means? That they're going to play loose without fear of making mistakes. And a team that plays without fear is very dangerous. The Fever's style of play, with this combination of long-distance shots and creative passes, can cause serious problems for many teams in the playoffs, especially for teams that aren't used to defending this type of attack. And we can't forget the surprise factor. Many teams might underestimate the Fever based on the franchise's recent history, but whoever does that will regret it. This isn't that Fever from years ago anymore. It's a new team, with a new mindset. But perhaps the most important factor is evolution. The team has improved a lot throughout the season, and if they keep evolving at this pace, what if Clark and Mitchell arrive at the playoffs even better than they are now? It's a scary scenario for other teams. Of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Winning the title would still be quite a feat. But making noise in the playoffs, eliminating a favorite, reaching the finals, all of this seems increasingly possible. And you know what's most exciting? Regardless of the final result, this is just the beginning. With Clark, Mitchell, and company, the Fever is building something special, something that could dominate the league for years. So get ready, because the WNBA playoffs this year promise to be epic. And the Indiana Fever, well, they might be the most exciting story of this postseason. Now, I really want to know your opinion. Do you think the Fever has real chances of winning the title this year? How far do you think Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell can take this team? Are we seeing the birth of a new dynasty in the WNBA? Leave your guess in the comments. I love reading your theories and predictions. Sometimes you see things I hadn't even thought of. And look, if you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay on top of everything that happens in the WNBA, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. That way you won't miss any video and we can continue this conversation in the next games. Thanks for watching and see you next time.